you have 200 bucks, there's some fun Spider-Man comics you should think about investing in. Again, for 200 bucks, these are good key comics, Spider-Man titles, 5 of them. Let's take a look at them. All right, the first Spider-Man on our list for 200 bucks is this little beauty here, number 39, Amazing Spider-Man number 39. You can get fairly good copy for 200 bucks, and I would say set your budget at 200 and search and find the best copy you can for that amount, because this is a pretty important comic. Not only does it have an amazing cover, you know, this guy has the Green Goblin. It's a Ramita cover, and you can see Peter Parker with the Spider-Man uniform costume poking through. But Peter learned something pretty big about the Green Goblin here. So it's not a key in the sense that it was the first appearance. It's not the first appearance of the Green Goblin, but it's key in the sense that something major happens, kind of a jaw-dropping moment here. And so it's a great title. It's a 12-center Stan Lee. You really can't beat it. And if you have a $200 budget and you're looking for a Spider-Man title, this is a good place to spend your dough. All right, number 2 on the list is Cheating. 2 copies of this. So this is Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 64. And so this is the first appearance of 2 characters, Cloak and Dagger. They're always together, Cloak and Dagger. And the reason this is a cheat is you can get a really good copy of this for 200 bucks, or you can get 2 pretty darn good copies for about $100 each. And so you decide. I would say if you can get a really high grade copy for 200, go for it, because this comic, in my opinion, is incredibly underpriced. Cloak and Dagger, I'm 48, if you're around my age, you love Cloak and Dagger. Most Marvel fans of our vintage are fond of the characters. In fact, the characters were popular enough that they had a show on Hulu, you know, and it wasn't like, you know, the MCU connected and a runaway success. It was just a Hulu show. But the fact that they got their own television shows shows you that they have a floor of popularity. And so this book, because of the key first appearance of Cloak and Dagger, should have a floor of 500 bucks. The fact that you can get a great copy for 200 or 2 really pretty good looking copies for 100 bucks each is just shocking, in my opinion. I think the price will only go up on this one. All right, the next comic is Amazing Spider-Man, number 42. So it's not too many issues past the one that I showed you with the Green Goblin on the front. This is a beat-up copy that I had before, and not too long ago, I got this copy for exactly $200. So I know there are deals to be had for this comic. So, you know, not super high grade, just solid mid-grade. But again, for 200 bucks, it's not a great cover. And so it's not something where you would look at it and you would say, oh, that's amazing. But this has one of the most iconic panels in comic book history. This is the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson. She appears right at the end, and it's that famous panel where Peter sees Mary Jane for the first time and she goes, "Face it, Tiger, you hit the jackpot." So just for that panel alone, this is a fun comic. Again, that's not on the cover. The cover's lame, but inside, that panel's inside, but gosh, it's worth it. Mary Jane Watson's face revealed for the very first time in Amazing Spider-Man 42. The next, if you have 200 bucks, the next one, I just bought this comic for exactly 200 bucks, a 6.0. This is Amazing Spider-Man 194. This is the first appearance of Black Cat. Now, I admit, I got a pretty good deal on that. So you might not be able to find a 6.0 for 200 bucks. But my point is, you can find a pretty good copy for 200 bucks. The first appearance of Black Cat is a key comic. The Black Cat is extremely popular character for obvious reasons. She's an important person in Peter Parker's life. At some point, she's going to hit the big screen. And the fact that you can find deals to get a mid-grade copy of the first appearance of Black Cat. If you can, anytime you find that for $200, do it. It's absolutely worth it. This comic is Amazing Spider-Man 135. This is not a first appearance, and this is also a comic I got for exactly $200, a 7.5. And I'll admit that you might have to look for a good deal. You might not be able to get quite the 7.5, but this is proof positive that you can get this comic, something similar, for 7.5. It's not a first appearance, so why would you want to get it? You might be asking. Well, this is a second appearance. This is the second appearance of Punisher. Unless you're rich, you're not going to get the first appearance of Punisher. If it's your grail, if it's the one you want, and you're willing to pay thousands of dollars for it, you can. And so I'm a big fan of second appearances for these big characters. Get the second appearance of Wolverine. Get the second appearance of Punisher. Get the second appearance of Daredevil. Get a second appearance because they're often worth about 10% of what the first appearance will be worth. But when the first appearance rises in value, so do these second appearances. So they end up being a pretty good investment, these second appearances. And they're affordable. It's not the best cover, but it is nice that the Punisher is on the cover. And again, it's something where it's not going to kill you. It's $200. You might not, it'd be thousands of dollars for the first appearance, and so why not go for the second appearance of a popular character? All right, there you have. There's 5 Spider-Man titles. If you have $200, they are good ones to pick up. They're vintage, old school. Each of them have something important about them. They're going to be a pretty good investment. If you spend $200 on these 5 comics here, they're going to be worth more than $200 in the future. But more than that, don't buy comics to speculators and invest. Buy comics because they're awesome. Not everybody has $200 to spend, but if you do, you can get some pretty good Spider-Man comics for that amount of money. All right, this is my tips here. If you want to follow along, you can subscribe and jump through those hoops that Google will have you do. Appreciate you watching. All right, you take care.